I am live. I'm live. It told me I was live. I bet a lot of people were wondering because I haven't been for a while, or at least I was live once this week, I think. But we are live again here in the Savannah Performance Project atrium. I'm not going to call it an atrium because it's airy and lofty and echoey. It's very echoey. I don't know if you can tell that. Hopefully I have my mic set at a non-echoey level. Is it non-echoey? My guest who is backstage. She's going to nod her head if it is. Yeah. Okay, good. This is the Inspire show. I guess we're calling it that. And we want to be inspiring to those of us out there that are performers and doers and artisans and technicians and all the good things that make our world lovely, you know? Hey, whoever gave me that thumbs up, thank you. It really means a lot to me that you gave me a thumbs up, and I'm guessing that it was Mr. Ryan McCurdy. Mr. Ryan McCurdy, how are you today? It's so lovely to see you. I wanted to talk about a few things really quick before we get the show started. And that is the fact that actors are needed for ghost tours right now in our city. My good friend Anthony Chase, who for the first time liked the Savannah Performance Project. It's been a long time coming, sir. And yes, thank you for liking. He posted this earlier today that they are hiring people to do ghost tours for $15 an hour. Whew, that's way above minimum. That's almost a living wage, I think. And if you are interested, I believe that is actually the living wage, or so it's said. I'm not sure. If you are interested, you can send your resume and headshot to creative@oldsavannahtours.com. Should I repeat that? That's creative@oldsavannahtours.com. So check that out. Secondly, I'm a bit off today because I have not yet watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 3. I do plan on watching it soon, so please no spoilers. Those of you who are early adopters to television. Is it still called television? I don't know. That's a question for everyone. I haven't watched it yet, but I am excited to buy that. Also, I'm a bit at odds this week. I can't decide whether I'm a Marvel fan or a DC fan. Shut up, Ryan McCurdy. Shut your face, sir. You ruiner. You ruinous ruiner. I can't decide whether I'm a Marvel person or a DC person because my dear friend in theater, Mr. Christian Magby, will be guest starring on The Flash this coming, I believe it's Tuesday. It's super exciting. He's going to be a villain or something on the show. So major props to Christian for booking that gig. And I can't wait to watch because I want to see his villainry, whatever you say. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, comic book nerding out today. That's one of my goals. But also my secondary goal is to talk about my guest and what she has recently directed or helped to put on, I should say. And that is, I'm going to get it wrong. I know I'm going to get it wrong. Please don't get it wrong. White Rock Cliff. I got it right. White Rock Cliff, which is an experience, I'm told. And one of our viewers is actually the performer in it. So kudos to that person. But I'm going to bring her out now. She's waiting backstage. She's enjoying our finely dried charcuterie board. It was wet for at least 3 months, but now it's just dry. It's dried meats, but the only reason they're dried is because it's been sitting out for a month. So I apologize to Ellie Pyle, who is backstage right now. Ellie, how are you?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I have some good news for you. You don't have to pick between Marvel and DC. You can like both.
I can like both?
You can like both. Little known facts.
Huh. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's great because I don't just like Marvel and DC. I also like Invincible, which is on Amazon Prime right now, and to which you didn't know.
That's true. I
Yeah.
did not know that. I did not know
Yeah.
that. I'm behind on so many things.
That's my son in the window there. He just
Hello.
appeared on camera for the first time ever. And can you hang on 1 second, Ellie? I'm going to let you entertain everybody just while I see what's going on. Hang on 1 second.
So while Chris finds out what's going on, I will tell you all about White Rock Cliff, which is a one-man show, a one-man musical, in fact, that is performed by your friend and mine, Ryan.
Live TV. My son, we live our lives right now while we're also working. This is just how things are. My son is going to loosely interview for a job today.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how that goes.
I hope it goes well.
I hope so too. He needs to work. I think it is important to get out there and work. He has had his first vaccination. My daughter has had her first vaccination. My wife and I have had both of our vaccinations. We're very happy about that. And whether you are for or against, I'm all for it. So
I am very in favor of vaccinations.
Well done.
I want us all back in theaters as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. And I noticed some news today about theater is that I believe New York is now announcing that Broadway is good to open in limited quantities of people. Is that not correct?
There are a variety of factors involved in that, I think, in terms of there may be discrepancies between what New York is saying people can do versus what the unions are agreeing to yet. But I will be very excited as soon as we have the news of opening dates for any of those shows, because everybody needs to get back to work.
Right. Absolutely. Bespoke Plays says, yay, Ellie. So yay, Ellie.
It's nice to be liked by my own company.
Exactly.
It's good. That's helpful.
It is helpful. And also they posted the link to White Rock Cliff. So let's talk about that for a minute. Tell me how this came about with Mr. Ryan McCurdy.
So Ryan approached me in the spring of 2019 and asked me to take a bunch of songs he had written and use them to tell a story about two people walking toward each other along the Appalachian Trail. I believe we were in Westway Diner at the time, which is something, Ryan would want me to mention. And
Westway Diner.
Yeah, he can often be found there in his natural habitat. So I took these songs and this idea of the story of two people kind of walking toward each other along the trail, and that by the time they met up, they would know what the next step in their lives and their relationship was going to be. Now, we didn't necessarily know what that next step was going to be in terms of, we went through various iterations of they get there and they never speak to each other again. They get there, they go live on a farm at one point was suggested. So within kind of that framework, I then got to help him figure out how we were going to take these songs and this premise and turn it into a story. So we worked on that throughout 2019 and did a first private development reading in the fall of 2019 for a 6-person cast version of this musical. And then in March of 2020, we did a public reading of this musical with a 6-person cast in Los Angeles, California, exactly one weekend before the shutdown of everything. I actually dropped Ryan at LAX and we both went straight into lockdown, after the show closed. So that was its own pretty epic experience. So as kind of this year went on, we started talking about wanting to do something with this show, that, Ryan really wanted to get back to work. And we have an amazing producer named Martha Good of Good Productions, who started kind of talking to us and working with us on the fact that she believes in a life for the full cast show, but what could we do under our current circumstances? Fortunately, Ryan is so very multi-talented, as we know him to be, and thus you can put him on stage in a room by himself and it will actually be very entertaining for about 90 minutes. So
that's the limit, though. After 90, it's
after that it gets a little dodgy, but so he tells stories of when he actually walked the trail, part of it back in 2010, mixed in with stories of us trying to write this musical, mixed in with some other stories of his life, mixed in with all of these amazing songs. And he plays 8 instruments over the course of the show. Yes. So it's really him locked in a recording studio with 8 instruments, entertaining you for 90 minutes. And the whole thing is done live 4 nights a week, from Funkadelic Studios, which is in Times Square. And we have a 3-camera setup. So that was really fun. And that was an idea that came from our director, Mary Chifo, that she had been.
Did you say Mary Chifo?
I did say Mary Chifo.
Mary Chifo of
Star Trek Discovery fame.
What? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She's a friend of mine through Bespoke Plays, and has become a friend of Ryan's through there as well. And we knew that she had been doing really innovative stuff with her improv troupe, Ripley Improv, figuring out how to do shows on Twitch and stuff that they could do, kind of taking the constraints of our current environment and using them for artistic inspiration. So she came up with the idea of doing this 3-camera setup that is being kind of live edited by our stage manager, who is in her apartment across town, but she's getting the feed from the 3 cameras and kind of deciding which angle you're looking at any given time. Ryan can move the cameras around himself over the course of the show if he needs to. And then he's cueing his own sound from a cell phone that's on stage, but all of the sound is being live mixed by a sound tech. So it became a much more complicated technical experience than I think any of us were kind of imagining, but it really still has that live theater feel of both the thrill of it being slightly different every time, also the terror of anything could go wrong at any moment, and the mixture of those two things that is watching Ryan McCurdy on stage. So we've been having a great time with it. We just finished our first full week. We've done 5 performances at this point. And we recently added the ability to get a 24-hour ticket for our Thursday shows. So anyone who's not available at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time can watch it at their convenience anytime until 8 p.m. Friday.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the idea of it being like a live thing that you would be able to somehow interact with. Does the audience interact in any way?
Well, that's the big problem that we haven't figured out a perfect solution for yet, though we're looking for one. So, if anyone has one, let me know. What we have done is set up a message board that we're calling our Trail Register, which people can sign like a guest book after they see the show. So we talked about doing a chat, but we wanted people to be able to fully immerse themselves in the performance and watch it in full screen and not be worried about trying to keep up with the chat the whole time. We really appreciate, I've been getting texts and seeing posts from people after they see the show. It's always a surprise to me who's seen the show any given night. And I love it that we'll get to the end of the night and I'm like, oh, Gail Byrne came tonight. That's amazing. So We love that, but we do want people to start signing our trail register if people, are interested. And I'm sure that some helpful viewer, whether Bespoke Plays or Mr. McCurdy himself, might even put the link to that trail register in the comments.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's do a little Jeopardy theme music here. No, it's not happening. Okay,
Right.
whatever.
We'll see. Maybe it'll show up later.
Maybe it'll show up later. Let's hope so. That's amazing. So they can get tickets online through the link that I'm providing below, 5ohm.tv/White Rock-Cliff.
Yeah, 5ohm has been extremely helpful as we've been trying to basically make up a form of streaming performance that no one has done before. That they have really worked with us and gone above and beyond in terms of figuring out, all of the technical capabilities of the stream itself, of all of our strange requests in terms of how we want to sell tickets, such as, hey, can it be just a live show Monday through Wednesday, but a 24-hour ticket Thursday? You guys can figure that out, right? And they do. They've been amazing hosts for this whole thing.
That's great. Yeah. I wish I'd figured that out for you. What was I doing? Oh my gosh.
We should have asked.
Well, yeah. Nod's as good as a wink to a blind bat, as I always say. So what about you, Ellie?
What about me?
Yeah, what about you?
I have been a playwright for a very long time. I started writing plays as a teenager, and was very lucky that growing up in Richmond, Virginia, Virginia has a state playwriting competition that I was fortunate enough to.
What in the world?
What?
Are you in the shower?
I'm trying to watch the show, Chris. I just came to make sure that Ellie was doing okay, but I also have to have the shower right now. It's an awkward combination, and I apologize to your viewers.
Well, I should only think that our viewers would be inspired by your dedication to the forum. And also the fact that I don't think you can. What? You're breaking up, Ryan. You're breaking up.
Maybe you got the phone wet.
Oh, maybe it's like a psycho kind of thing. Maybe someone has just ripped. Oh, I hope not. Okay, he went away. So.
Well, he doesn't have to do a show again until Monday, so we'll get it sorted out by then.
That's good. So yeah, you had mentioned it 5ohm. Oh, 5ohm. Is it 5ohm? Yeah. Like the frequency.
Yes.
Something. Yes. I thought I had that right. I forget my science for a minute. And we were talking about you specifically, how you got into writing plays. Yes. Yeah.
So I've been writing plays for a very long time. And I was performing arts coordinator for the city of Savannah for 2 years. So that was an adventure a very long time ago after I finished up school at SCAD.
Was that at the Black Box?
That was at Space. Yes.
Space. Yes.
So I did that, and will always love Savannah. And in fact, currently I'm on the board of Savannah Repertory Theater, which I believe would want me to mention that we are about halfway through our capital campaign. Our first goal for the capital campaign. There are multiple goals.
Okay.
But the first goal of $100,000 by June 1st. We're about halfway there, which on the one hand is super exciting. On the other hand, we need to get that other halfway. So we will take any and all leads on that, but we are very grateful for the enormous amount of support that we've gotten from the community thus far.
Yeah, somebody who's very good at copying links should probably see if they can somehow. Okay, I think this is all I need to do really, is post this in. And yes, there we go. So if you go to savannahRep.org, I believe you can find information on how they can.
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Awesome. You can be a part of this next era of theater in Savannah that we are all super excited about, including you, I believe.
I'm very excited. I mean, this is my excited expression, actually, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So the dear, sweet Karen Short
Thank you,
McCurdy.
Karen.
Yes.
She is absolutely correct.
And while Karen's on here, I'm going to go ahead and say hi, Mom, because that's Ryan's mom. So because my mom's not watching today, unfortunately, I don't know why. She's always watching. Where are you, Mom? Oh, well.
I don't know, but Karen's here for you.
Oh, here we go. So there actually is a shortened link for the rep campaign. So thank you, Savannah Repertory Theater, for sharing that. And if you need it, it's in the comments. So be sure to check that out.
I should have come prepared with all of my own links.
It's okay. This is what the community is for.
There we go. There we go. Community support.
Exactly. So what's next for you after this amazing white rock cliff?
That is, you'll see when you see the show that, the name of this place and how people say it actually plays a role in all of this. So
interesting.
There's a teaser that's not a spoiler. People have asked me multiple times this week, what is next after this? And that is a very good question. So my hope is that Bespoke Plays, which is the staged reading series that I run in Los Angeles, we also do readings that Ryan helps us out with in New York, that we are going to be back up and running as soon as we possibly can be. We spent this year doing a lot of behind the scenes development, a lot of, giving plays their very first read on Zoom in a safe, controlled environment. Hello, Ryan. Ryan even has performed in some of those from his shower.
Has he now?
Yeah, I have, I really do care about the arts. I also have a really sort of frenetic hygienic schedule that I have to stick with, or things just kind of get chaotic. So I was just finishing my phase. Did Ellie tell you about her writing career and about Richmond, Virginia?
I don't know if we got to Richmond, Virginia. And that was I was going to make that my next point after we talked about Bespoke Plays. Of course, I have my list here in front of me, and it does say Richmond, Virginia, right here. I'm looking at it. Yes.
Fantastic. No, that's a piano, Chris. That's a piano.
No. I'm pointing to my screen. This is my piano. You see the direction of my arm.
Okay.
That's called. This is called foreshortening.
Excellent.
Actually,
I have to shave now, so I have to go. But thank you, y'all.
So, I'll circle back to Richmond in a second, but my hope is that possibly the first public reading that we go back to with Bespoke is going to be the first one we had to cancel when all of this happened, which is my play Heretics, which we were going to be reading in New York City, and which will also hopefully involve both Ryan McCurdy and Mary Chifo. So,
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually, here we go. And I believe I have this right. Staged readings in LA and New York.
That's correct.
So that is the link for Bespoke Plays that I just posted in the comments as well.
Hooray, so many links.
So many links. You're link heavy.
I am. I do a lot of things, Chris.
Yeah.
I do a lot of
I hear you.
Not even counting the ones that pay me. I do a lot of things.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So tell me about Richmond.
So Richmond is where I grew up and where I started out as a teenage playwright. And then once I aged out of the playwriting program that we have here, I realized I needed to start producing my own work. So that's how I got started as a producer, was with my first theater company, the Risk Players, which I founded when I was 19. And so I produced evenings of one acts in the summer through the whole time I was in college, and really kind of got a very good start on the idea that, if you want to make theater, then you need to make theater.
I agree.
And that very much set me up for the eventual founding of Bespoke Plays many years later. and when Christine Boyland, who is a playwright and a TV writer, sent out an email just being like, would people want to read some plays? Definitely not form a theater company, but just, read some plays. And I got this email and I was like, well, I know a thing or two about running a theater company. And within 24 hours, Bespoke Plays existed. It was actually terrifyingly fast. But we were able to I'm going to get my numbers wrong here. I want to say we did about a dozen public readings from the fall of 2018 until the shutdown. And we miss it, but it has been nice to continue with some private readings during this year. That we've got a good solid stack of plays that as soon as we can get back out there in public again, we will be excited to share with people.
Yeah, and you're talking about the Sunday sequestered readings, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which that started because I don't sit around well. So the first Sunday of quarantine, I was like, I've got this TV pilot that I've never shown to anybody, that's been sitting in a drawer for 2 years. Maybe we could read that. And we did. And everybody had such a good time that they were like, what are we doing next week? I don't know. And then much like what I would imagine perhaps happened with this show for you, I then had to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And we have now done 50 readings of either plays, pilots, screenplays. We've even done a few animated shows that it's just kind of, and it's this group that like nobody was specifically invited to or excluded from. It just kind of organically snowballed over time. And it's been really fun, and it's been amazing to watch our writers and our actors continue to up each other's games. Because for writers, I know for me in particular, and several of the other writers in the company, when we know what actors we're writing for, it changes everything. That's such a tool of inspiration to know, oh, this is the voice, this actor can do anything. So I can write this crazy monologue and they'll be able to pull it off. Whereas our actors, and Mary specifically, chief among them, began doing costumes and then doing, props and then, Zoom filters and, to the point where we've had people show up painted blue. It's kind of, who knew everyone was so competitive? But it has been a really great experience. And of course, a deadline is one of the greatest muses there is. Just the fact that you have to sit down and get this thing done. And that's really how I hoped this would work as a tool for me. And I'm grateful that it has been able to do that for other people.
Yes, I think it's great how we as a community have been able to keep our energy alive this whole time through these different projects that just come up. And my heart goes out to the people that haven't had the availability to that. But hopefully very soon we will all have all the availability we will ever need, for a little while at least. But kudos to you for the Bespoke Sequestered series. I have gotten my invitations and I have yet to imbibe on the Sunday. Do I still have time?
All are welcome. Oh yes.
Okay.
What are we doing? We're doing 2 animation pieces this week.
What?
That they won't be animated, but we're reading them. Okay. And then next week I have no idea what we're doing, because unfortunately it's my job to figure that out, and I haven't yet. So it's probably not going to be the pilot that I'm like one solid Saturday's work away from having done, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
so it
sounds like it.
It'll be something.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I congratulate you for your energy and your enthusiasm and your willingness to get the job done. It's inspiring, and what a great thing to be on here. Yes, sir. What is that? I don't know what he's talking about. He's saying something. Maybe you know what this means.
Oh, Better Angels. Yes, that's the name of the pilot that Ryan would very much like me to finish, but I have not. It's possible that I haven't finished it because I've been spending so much time on White Rock Cliff. It's a
Yeah.
possibility. I won't say, for sure that that's the reason, but it's one possibility.
Yes. Yes. Well, I cannot wait to watch it. And I really want to do this thing on Sunday, but it is Easter. That might be hard for me.
It is Easter.
But maybe I could figure something out. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
There'll be other Sundays in the future.
There you go.
Other Sundays in the future.
Ellie, I'm gonna give you your time back today because I know you are so busy, and I know that. What is that painting behind you anyway?
That is a painting that one of my mom's college friends did, and apparently a couple of the reeds on the beach are supposed to represent my parents.
Oh,
but it's very pretty, so I like to use it as my background when I talk to people.
That's a lovely background. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, I look forward to seeing you in person again. We saw each other not too long ago when you and Ryan were passing through town to help promote the soon to be opening Savannah Rep Theater downtown. So thank you for doing that and being a part of that. And thank you for all you do. And I will see you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.
There is one
thing. Yeah, absolutely. There is one thing we do here. It is a tradition. I have to explain it really quickly. So in the 70s and 80s, sitcoms in particular had a trope where they would freeze on a feeling or a mood or a happening at the end of the show. Some would. They wouldn't all do it. But so I'm inviting you as a writer to come up with a scenario for us to freeze to. It has to be a sitcom ending scenario. Go.
Sitcom ending scenario.
Yes.
I was absolutely terrified that you were going to make me do improv. I thought I had escaped, Chris. I thought I was going to get out of here.
No one escaped.
Okay, so a sitcom ending scenario. We've just found out whose baby it is.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be the neighbor. It's a possibility, right? The male neighbor who it's a possibility of. And you will be...
I will be the sister who knows about the affair that the off-screen pregnant woman has been having.
Okay, she's off-screen though. Okay,
yeah,
so we're reacting to that.
She's just told us who the father is, and we're reacting.
Okay, so I'm going to come up with my reaction on the spur of the moment after 1, 2, 3, and then I say sitcom freeze, and that's your reaction. So 1, 2, 3, sitcom freeze.